All right, let's get some energy dance going. Are you ready? Before we get going, here we go. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's go. Hey, hey, hey. Walk it up, walk it up. That's right. Welcome to another episode of Olympic Digest with the one and only David Payne, aka Robert Esmie, the Speed Doctor. Now,
we in there.
Now let's give them the truth, the unplugged version, the naked truth. Don't play with them, David. Right? They can be able to handle the truth. This is called the digest. Sometimes it's gonna go down smooth. Sometimes it won't. It's not for everybody. Sometimes you may touch a topic. It's too deep for that person. If they can't handle the heat, get the hell out of the kitchen, baby.
That's right. We're giving it to you raw, and we're going to give you everything that you want to know without any remorse, straight up.
Fantastic. Let's dive into the U.S. Championship final. Hurdles, your hurdle specialist, right? Let's take a look at the women's.
Okay.
What would you think would be the most big upset in the women's hurdle?
Of course, it would be Jasmine Camacho Quinn not making the team. She has to make the team. I mean, we've actually got a deep set of females that are going to come and try to make this team. I mean, if you're not running or have not ran sub 12.5, it's going to be hard for you to make the team. So,
in other words, the ass should stay home.
Pretty much. I mean, but again, with the hurdles, you never know what's going to happen. Just because you have the fastest time on the paper don't mean you're going to clear all 10 barriers. I've seen it happen. I've been through it myself. So you gotta be mentally focused on that day, regardless if you ran 12.3, 12.4, 12.5. But I will say that, in order to be up in there with the thoroughbreds, you're going to have to be able to run sub 12.6 and 12.5 and 4 all in the same, couple of rounds.
Here's a question for you. As a hurdler, how important is it to have the right amount of speed? Like, do these guys end up running individual hundreds and then do hurdles, or the most of the race just consists of hurdles? Like, what's that preparation like?
I would say it would be definitely good for you to be doing 100-meter sprints in your early training, or in your first couple of meets when you come out and you're trying to get your race together. It's definitely important for you to also try to get your speed, because the hurdles are just sprints interrupted. So you still need to be able to be a sprinter with those fast twitch muscles, that quick reaction time. I raced against Terrence Trammell. He was the sub 10 sprinter, and a sub 13 hurdler. I'm not a sub 10 sprinter, but yet I was able to stay with him. So there's a lot of negotiation in the hurdles. But at the same time, you have to be a sprinter. You still have to be a sprinter. You can't be a hurdler without being a sprinter.
All right, I'm gonna hit you hard now. This is
all right.
Listen up, folks. Listen. This one's gonna get a little bit intense, but sometimes it's the naked truth. Here's a tough question for you, David. Can a white person hurdle fast? Whoa!
I don't know. You have to ask Devin Allen that, because right now, because that boy hurdling fast. I mean, I think so far he only ran 13.2 this year. But he is capable of running 13.0. We've seen him do it at Eugene before, and I would not be surprised if he was able to make the team again. He's definitely somebody who we should count on being up in the mix. I believe he's like either 4th or 5th on my list right now as far as ranking, and he should definitely be in the finals.
So, folks, the myth is out. It doesn't matter what color you are. It's about rhythm. You not necessarily have to have Usain Bolt speed, but you got to have the right amount of speed and the right rhythm. So if that means you don't have the speed, you got to make sure. Come on, DJ, where you at? Oh, the mess with me right now. Like, really? It just messed with my flow, man. I'm trying to get the rhythm going, and this music just killing me. You got to have the right rhythm. Come
There
on.
you go. There you go.
1, 2, 3. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Oh, gosh. Yes, that's right, folks. The hurdle. It's a love-hate relationship. You love it, but sometimes it's going to hate you and smack you in the face like that, right? You know, I watched Gail Devers and some of these guys dominating the race back in the days. And right coming off the last hurdle, boom, accident happened.
It's 10 of them. Don't matter if you clean off of, it don't even matter if you clean off all 10, you still got to run to the line. So I've seen tragedy happen on the 10th hurdle. In fact, my Olympic birth was born off of one of a great hurdler's fall. Anwar Moore, he fell on the last hurdle in the 2008 Olympics. Yeah. And it was between me and Aries, and I threw my hands up not knowing if I made it, but somehow I just felt like I made it. And what are the odds that someone who's on a 13.0 pace, who's already cleared 9 hurdles, is going to over hurdle or clip the 10th hurdle, and their ticket is already punched? There's no one in their way. And, you know, that's why the hurdles are such a fierce event, because it's not just a straightaway, and you could be the fastest person there and still not win.
It's a tough question for you. It could be biased. Who do you think makes the best leaners and best finishers? Hurdlers or sprinters?
That's good. That's good, you know, because we both do it. We both do it a lot, but I would have to say hurdlers. I don't know. I mean, it might be 50-50. I mean, I am a hurdler, so that's probably why I am biased. But I've seen sprinters do it, but I mean, I've seen hurdlers come off the last hurdle with 4 to 5 steps left, and every step is lean because you're fighting someone. Usually as a sprinter, you're still driving all the way through the line. At least that's what you're taught. As a hurdler, you're coming off that last hurdle. However, you're coming off that last hurdle, just trying to get to the line. And a lot of people, I mean, have you seen 2012 Olympic trials? Jeff Porter dove across the line. So literally he was Superman. So I would say the hurdlers.
A diving for swimming. Divers
do what it takes.
Whatever it takes.
David Neville dove to the line. That's one of my guys too. David Neville dove to the line in 2008 and made the team for the men's 400. So it might not be practical, but you do what you need to do to book that ticket.
Legally, you need to do what you need to do to get
legally. Absolutely.
I'll let you, boy. Hey,
absolutely. Well, that was a given.
Uncomfortable situation here, folks, but we're giving it some insight to the depth. Now, when you come off the last hurdle to the finish line, how much distance between the last hurdle and the finish line?
You know what? I don't want to
estimate
the wrong answer, but
estimate in the guys.
I would say it's about 8 steps, 7 or 8 steps.
So it could be based on your speed, about 10 meters.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Yeah. So almost enough to put another hurdle there, but not quite enough.
So in other words, so let's look at the whole picture. Coming after the last hurdle, and maybe I might give you the advantage that hurdlers are probably better leaners because the race is always tighter than the individual sprint. Right. So if they come off the last hurdle and they start leaning it, doesn't the momentum of the arms broken and the speed broken, leaning that early, then someone else is not leaning that early, get more of a momentum to go forward. So what would be your suggestion for those tight race going into the Olympic final that you could win by 1/1000th of a second, the strong of your hair? Should they lean coming off the hurdles or at least wait at least 1 or 2 steps away from the finish line to lean?
Right.
What's your perspective?
I wouldn't even focus on leaning. I mean, you lean, your intent is to lean because you have that holy shit. Oh, can I say that? Holy crap, holy crap, somebody's chasing you, you know. So you have that, you want to lean early. But I've always been taught to run through the line, not run to the line. And so when we start competing against people, we're so eager to get there before them that naturally our body starts leaning. But if you can hold off your lean as long as possible, at least to 1 or 2 steps as you're entering the line, that's probably as good as it's going to get. And in fact, here's a quick story for you. I broke my femur in 2013 at the Lausanne, Switzerland meet.
Yeah.
Because I was leaning way too early. And then at the finish line, I tried to put on the brakes with one step and hyperextended my leg and broke my femur. So, you know, the art of leaning, I think, is just something that we've been taught to do as we're in competition. But really, we need to be running through the line.
Here's the next question, because that's a technical piece of the preparation stage. When you're training, or these young cats, should they have a certain time in the year, especially pre-competition, where they're actually focusing on the lean, like maybe 1 or 2 practices on just leaning, finishing the race? You think they do that? And did you do that as an athlete in your planning stage?
So I think I spent more time on my start, like coming out of the blocks, on my lean coming out, like in the blocks, making sure I could hold my body up and stuff. But and it's crazy because I didn't really learn a lot or do a lot with like leaning into the line. It wasn't until I had that accident, until I started really focusing on and started telling the athletes, like, don't dive into the line, because you can get injured. I mean, I've seen many people fall. Unfortunately, you know, I broke my femur. Everybody doesn't do that, but I definitely could have did more practice on keeping my body upright, because, you know, we're at the last part of our race. We're very tired. Lactic acid is coming. The chances of us being able to hold our body up once we get lower than 55, 50, or 45%, we're going down because we're tired. So I think that we should work on that, working on leaning, working on our core. A good exercise for that is laying flat on your stomach and lifting your body up from your knees with just your core. That's a good exercise for that. And lowering yourself slowly. That will be able for you to control your lean as you're running into the finish line.
Here's another big question, since we're in the hurdle mode. It takes a different character or mindset person to do hurdles because of all the barriers. What cross sport athletes would be best to come into the world of hurdling? Where would you recruit from other than track and field to have them come into your sport?
That's a good question.
Or what are some of the characteristics that person needs to have mentally or athletic ability to be able to cross over? You have any sports in mind that would be a good crossover for you guys?
Man. I mean, that's a good question. I'm not really sure. I mean, because I would say a lot of every sport I could take something from, you know, football for sure. I would just say they're too heavy. You know, other sport, basketball for sure.
The jumping ability.
The jumping ability, right. So, but I mean, there ain't no athlete like a track athlete. I'm sorry to say. I mean, we just get down and we practice. We kill ourselves, even though we're only running for 13 seconds, 12 seconds, 48 seconds. You know, even though we're only running for those small seconds, we kill ourselves all year to run these immaculate times and put our bodies through these insane transformations and all that. So I don't know. I can't really even pull from another group. Because I mean, it's hard to do that.
Before we touch on the men's side, one question that I always want to ask, and me not being a hurdle specialist, but I can learn the art of hurdling. I've always tell my hurdlers, when you're in the blocks, I want your eyes to be always watching the first hurdle, because I tell them, if you take your eyes off, because of the movement, you run out of real estate and boom, it popped up on you like a deer on the road. What is the best technique to do? Is eyes down and then up, or always keep your eyes on that first hurdle so you don't miss that mark? What's your experience?
My experience always been to keep my eye on the hurdle, and then as I'm hurdling on that, look at the next hurdle. Because you're always wanting to stay forward. Now, I mean, somebody else might have a different technique or whatever, and some people only look at the hurdle that they're actually hurdling. But I'm trying to get up off that thing and keep moving so I can, you know, have a quick backside of the hurdle. So I'm looking at and through the first hurdle and every other hurdle on and so forth. I'm looking through the next one on to the next one.
Other than your relationship, if you're in one or not, and if you're single, ladies, you know, you can DM me my dial.
555 now.
Do you, like when you get to practice, do you talk to the hurdle? Is it like a relationship? And say, listen, baby girl, I want you to be extra nice to me, you know, and I don't want to get hurt today. Don't hurt my feelings. Do you have a relationship? Talk to me now. Tell me the truth now. The truth.
Realistically, I do have a relationship with the hurdles, man. And more so, it's the hurdles saying that to me. Because what I found out is that you have to have respect for the hurdle. The hurdle is there. It's not going nowhere. So no matter how you try to get around it, if you don't give it what it needs, it's taking you down. So the hurdle was more so saying to me, you know, is you coming with the respect today, or you gonna try to play me? And for the most part, I'm coming with the respect. You know what I'm saying? It's that girlfriend that you can't cheat, you can't lie to, because she know every time she know what you're doing. So you gotta be honest to the hurdle, and every hurdler knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
it's like if you flip the hurdles upside down and you try to do hurdle drills over it, the one thing you're not gonna do is break that. It's gonna break your shin. It's gonna give you some shins, some strong shins, because if you're a hurdler and you flip the hurdles over and you've done any drills, you know that is not gonna give. Yeah. So you got to be on top. You got to respect that.
By saying that, are you ready for a little intermission? Are you ready? Let's go. Candy!
Let's go. Let's go.
Tastes like candy. That's right. Hey, now you got deep on me there, David. Very deep. Look at that. You're giving me sweat and stuff.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
You know, we're athletes, but we're crossing over into the relationship of the hurdlers. It's like a real life situation. So yes, ladies, don't let him run up in there and carry on like that. He's got to come correct. That's what David said. You got to have respect, baby. You got to open the door. You know, you got to wine and dine and take it there. You know, there's coming up, boom, kick the door down like a terrorist. Sorry. But, you know, with that being said, I feel like, yes, my Jamaican guy is going to repeat, McLaughlin. Who's your money on and why for the U.S. Championship and then the Olympics?
Okay. So I'm a fan of Omar McLeod. He's phenomenal. And the only reason why I say that is because it's not too many hurdlers who can run sub 13 and sub 10. He's one of those people. So when you step into that light, I mean, at any given time when you're ready and at your best, you could win the gold medal. Only reason why I would have to say he's going to have a hard time doing that is because there's this young man from Florida that doesn't like to play around as well. And Grant Holloway has been a beast. I also have hopes that Daniel Roberts will peak when he's supposed to, as well as Devin Allen. But first and foremost, the U.S. trials, I would like to see Grant Holloway and Daniel Roberts, at least the two of them, be on the team together, because I've watched them in college. They've competed against each other most of their collegiate years. They're both phenomenal hurdlers, and to make a team would only make the bond for both of them better, and it would make them run faster, because now two of the best hurdlers are on the same team and they have the same goal on the same team. Devin Allen has always been good. I mean, he can show up when he's supposed to, as long as he's not injured or anything. Then that's someone who I'm also looking at. Then you got some collegiate athletes, Robert Dunning from Alabama. And then you got, I can't pronounce his last name, but I think it's McConaughey from Iowa. And I mean, they're running 13:20s. So just like the women, you're going to have to run 13:20, 13:30, 13:20 for the men in order to make these finals. Just like for the women, you're going to have to run 12:6, 12:5. You might get somebody to slip in there who's going to get in there, but then that final race is going to be it's going to be a whole new race. Omar McLeod is going to be a force to be reckoned with. You got a lot of other hurdlers from a lot of other countries, but I think so far those are the only two. I think there's an Englishman. There's a guy from Great Britain. I'm not familiar with their names. I follow them on Instagram, but I'm not familiar with their names. But they are running 1340, 13.3. They're in that realm. So everyone's peaking where they're supposed to. But I mean, right now, so far, it's just I've seen Grant Holloway and Omar McLeod really step it up.
Do you think we'll have a world record in the Olympics in the hurdle?
I think it's very possible. I mean, Grant Holloway. If it's not Grant Holloway, then I mean that's going to be a close race between him and whoever's going to run that. I mean, if it's not Grant Holloway, I don't know. Man, I do think it is going to be broken though. I do. He's moving like that. He broke that indoor record, and the times that he's running indoors are the equivalent of breaking the record outdoors. So, I mean, he's got my full support. I'm excited to watch him, and hopefully he gets it done. Team USA.
I want to talk about one of the GOATs of all time, Allyson Felix.
Okay.
We've got the Olympic trials coming in. What event you think she will do, and what event you think she should be best represented to go out with that give her a greater chance of medal? The 200 or the 400?
That's a good question. I personally would like to see her run the 200.
Yeah.
But I think she's going to choose the 400. I'm not really sure. But she's going to have to work hard in both. I mean, like, she is the greatest female athlete in track and field that's alive right now. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to be easy for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she still has to work. She's only ran 50.6 in the 400. And you got a couple of college girls who are running well. I mean, I think New is beasting from Texas A&M. And you got a whole bunch of other athletes that are just running really fast. I mean, Shamir Little is also running fast. I mean, she came from the 400 hurdles. So, I mean, it's not going to be a cakewalk for her, but I think if she chose the 400, she will at least have a chance to be in the 4x4 as well, so she can double medal. If she chose the 200, she would only be in the 200 unless they decided to put her on the 4x1, which I don't see happening. But don't get me wrong, she's very capable because she also can run a sub 10 a sub 11 in the 100. So and a 21.9.
Drop a 48.9, 49 on the relay leg there too.
Right.
But while I set up the next question, we need my little music. This one is called Big Daddy Kane for you young folks out there. It's called Get the Job Done.
Kane.
Here we go. Oh!
Rewind.
U.S. Charles coming out. We need to get the job done. Here we go. Remember that move?
Get it.
I work. What? I work. That's right, folks. Get your tips and dip. We're about to get lit. All right, the Olympic Digest. Now,
tips and dip.
We've got a young lady, GOAT in the making. Let's talk about Sydney.
Man,
her body of work. Let's talk about it. What events do you think she'll be doing, and how she'll stack up with her competition?
Well, first of all, again, she's a phenom. She can do it in the 400 hurdles, and she can do it in the 110 hurdles. I was very surprised to see her switch over. She kind of reminded me of Queen Harris when Queen Harris switched over from the 400 hurdles to the 100 hurdles. Also, right now, who I know we're talking about Sydney McLaughlin, but another young lady who surprised me. Not surprised me, but I mean, I'm looking for her to surprise me in the USATF Nationals is Anna Cockrell from USC. That girl is a beast in the 100 hurdles and the 400 hurdles. Now, she's not running 52. What is Sydney run in the 400 hurdles? She's not running. I can't remember what she ran. She's not running 52. 52.83 is what she ran. She's not running 52.83. She's running 54. It's a different level, but at the same time, she's doing that while at the same time running 12.5, just like Sydney is running 12.6. Now, when Sydney started running, she was running like 13.2 and 13.3, and then we watched her gradually progress. So, I mean, we gonna be deep up in that thing. I mean, Shamir Little is a beast too, and we ain't even talked about the reigning Olympic champion Delilah Muhammad. So we going in there deep. But Sydney McLaughlin is the cream of the crop when it comes to the women's 400 hurdles right now. She's got the fastest time right now, and I'm banking on her to win. I mean, I'm banking on her to get it done.
Oh, so in other words, you're doing a Big Daddy King.
Big Daddy Kane, go ahead and flip the switch.
That's what I'm gonna say. Do me, my Melvin DeVoe. Do me, baby.
Yes, sir.
Do me, baby. That's right. We're not doing a singing contract here, folks. It's not American Idol here.
Simon Cowell, we need you.
So here we go. We're gonna swing over to the women's 100-meter.
Okay.
It's getting hot over there, man. All right? These girls are heating up the track like Mo Green spraying up with his extinguisher right now. They got 4 rounds in the U.S. Who do you see coming out 1, 2, 3 making that team?
All right, so let me just do my little thing real quick. So first of all, Sha'Carri Richardson. First of all, I'm just she chucked the deuces, so I have her in that, no doubt. And then I don't know who's going to come in second, but it's going to be a brawl for second because you got TT Terry, who's ran 10.8. You got Aaliyah Hobbs, who's ran 10.9. And you got Cambria Sturgis, a collegiate athlete who's been beasting in the NCAAs. She excuse me, she won the 100 and she won the 200. She ran 10.74 and 22.12. So somebody is not going to make the team. Then you got people like Tiana Bartoletta. Now, I made the team with Tiana Bartoletta in 2008. She is a beastie long jumper. She's a world medalist long jumper, and she made the team in the 100 and has been on world championship 4x1s. So you can never cross out a GOAT like that. So, I mean, and there's still more. I mean, most of these girls that I'm talking about right now are only the ones that have run sub 11. So we have a school of girls who still are running 11.2 and 11.1. And any one of those girls could also make the team. But right now, I would have to say I'm really gunning for Aaliyah Hobbs. She got injured a while ago. I would really like for her to run fast in the 100. And then, like I said, there was a lot of collegiate girls. You got Tamara Clark from Alabama. You got Kimba from Oregon. And they all run sub 11. So I'm excited to see it. But I'm going to need Sha'Carri Richardson to be on that team.
With these young cats from college, how difficult is it to transition from the college NCAA, I think coming off now, and be ready, whether a week later, for the US, the big boy, the big girl league? That's another level. How easy to transition that over?
It's definitely a transition. However, I kind of think that the transition is harder the year after. Like if you go pro, it's harder the year after because NCAAs really does have you ready for NCAAs. I mean, they're coming right off of, I said that backwards. NCAAs really does have you ready for US Nationals. You're coming off of NCAAs. You're already at your peak. You're ready to continue to keep going on as long as you stay healthy and you're hitting. So you've seen these collegiate athletes coming in and moving. And then after this, if they commit to going pro, it's not as easy. I mean, I've seen it done. I don't know what their issue was for them not to be as good as they were that next year, but I've seen it like Brianna Rollins. Brianna Rollins came out of college hitting. You've seen it with Kenny Harrison. Kenny Harrison came and was hitting, and she didn't make the Olympic team, but then she came back to break the world record. I mean, you've seen it with a lot of athletes, even myself. It just takes sometimes a little while to do it. So
yeah. Oh, I was about to drop. I'm coming in hot. No, definitely, man. It's always a joy co-hosting with the Olympic Digest. I'm looking forward for digging in and diving as we get deeper into the Olympics.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I want to tell the audience one thing. One thing when you come over here, I want you to come to have fun. It's our own views, our own perspective, our own in-depth analysis, but 90% of it, we're usually accurate. Right? You have the 10%, some entertainment and some BS along the way. But you can bring your chips, you can bring your dip, you can take your viewing, put it up on the big screen. Let's make a party out of it, right? Don't be scared of partying with us. We might even have an opportunity to invite you in. You could win some prizes. I know Danny has got your back over there, right? So overall, great conversation. All right, any questions from my end that you want to ask me?
Yeah, definitely. So who do you think is going to be the 100-meter sprinter that surprises everyone? Not the one that everyone is looking forward to making the team, but the one that comes out. I mean, we have several. There's so many. We've got like Johan Blake. We've got Justin Gatlin. I mean, right now, Justin Gatlin hasn't even ran one of the top 4 fastest times. So he's going to have to work to make the team too. I mean, you also got Mike Rogers. I mean, there's just a lot of athletes. So who do you think is going to make it? We haven't even talked about Andre DeGrasse. So there's a lot of people.
I'm gonna put it this way: I'm a big fan of Andre DeGrasse. His mindset, I call him showtime. He shows up at the right time. He is running a little bit faster season-wise than he has been in his years. So I always look at that body of work first before showtime, right? And even then, I'm still counting him in the medal contention. So now that he's probably averaging about 10:01, 10:05, before he was averaging 10:1, 10:2.
Got you.
Remember?
Got you.
So I look at his average. And then I look at his championship performance at all time. And he's ready for mindset, mentally, emotionally, physically, to showcase. I look at athletes who consistently for the season is a 9.9 runner, but can't produce during showtime. So on paper, he may be about the 10th or so fastest or worse, right? But you can't take him out of the medal because it's a showtime. He runs based on competition and that moment. So I put him in the medal contention in the finals. The question is, I'm not sure if he may get the gold because consistently and time-wise, to win gold, it's going to be in the 9.8, 9.7. And the person who can consistently, emotionally, mentally hit under 8.8 is have a better chance to win, such as Bruny. And he's been waiting to showcase this is my time.
Right.
So I feel like if everything goes well, he may pull off a silver medal. And nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
Others may see it a failure, but it's a success. And he will run a personal best with it. So how are you going to cry or complain if you run a personal best and still get second? Hello.
Right.
And I think you'll be able to break the Canadian record in that process. So that's one of the person I'm looking forward to watch during the 100-meter process during the Olympics. The next one I'm going to use is a totally from a left field. You haven't probably heard of him. He's coming, right? I've watched this young man since high school, and I thought he's potentially able to be an Olympian one day. And I know he probably upset people at the Olympic trials in Canada. I'm putting my money on it that he may end up winning as a dark horse, the 200-meter Olympic trials. He just finally broke under 20 seconds. I think he was running, his PR was like 20:32, and then just dropped a 19:89. I think that probably put him up currently, I think, third in the world at the moment, third, fourth in the 200-meter. So I think once he gets to the Olympics, he's hungry, he's got something to improve, and I think he's now reached the maturity where he can say, hey, you're here to race me too. Time to show you what I can do. And surprise people. Jerome Blake. for some reason, if he makes the final, I might drop him in for a bronze medal.
Okay.
Surprise everybody, right?
Okay.
Right? Because as I said, he's unknown.
Two events that we didn't talk about really in depth is the men's 200 and the men's 400. Now, we haven't even touched on Terrence Leard from LSU, and he's been killing the game all year. Now, I jumped straight to the NCAAs. I know we got a ton of 200-meter runners that, we got Noah Lyles and Trayvon Bromell and even Matt Boyling up in that thing. But
that's right.
Terrence Leard has been tearing the game up. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So also, I have to say in the 400, we haven't really talked about, I haven't really heard anything about Michael Norman a lot this year, but he's been busting it. He's run 44 too. So he's been out there doing the thing. But in the 400 collegiately, Robert Dunning from Alabama has been rolling. So there are going to be several heartbroken professionals this year because the collegiate athletes have been doing their thing amongst the COVID pandemic and ain't no time for games. I mean, this is probably going to be one of the best and biggest Olympics that we've ever had. So I'm looking forward to seeing, who's going to step up and show who, who's got that heart of a champion mentality, who's going to get put on this Olympic team. What do you think?
Well, I'm looking forward for the U.S. drop. I've already booked time off to watch that because there's going to be some drama. I definitely feel like Kleenex is missing the spot of sponsoring that event. They should be the official sponsor. Soon as you come off, you get a box of Kleenex because you're going to be crying. It's either you're going to cry because you lost or you're crying for joy. Man. Kleenex, come on now. I'm keeping you in here.
Right. Because you know what? Losing tears are the fuel of winning cheers.
Yeah,
Boom, so, let's go.
I'm excited because I think the young guys in the States right now, coming off of collegiate, they're ready. Right? They're hot. And as the song says, I'm coming in hot. So I'm saying, so they're ready. So the goats or the one that's still around, these guys are gonna say, yo, it's time for me to take that baton. And since you're a goat now, how about you go sit and drink some goat milk or something and just chill out. Right? They're coming in hot, my friend. All right. So
hey, that might be a thing. That might be a thing. I might have to check that out. Drinking goat's milk.
That's right, man. It makes you go, man.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I'm looking forward for that. The 400 meter, you gotta have balls. I'm sorry, you gotta grow balls for the 400 as a male. For the woman, you gotta have something extra, man, because that race hurts. No matter how you look at it, your ass, cheek, and everything when they cross that line, it's gotta lock up and hurt and go, woo, right?
Man,
you gotta put your stuff out there. And it's for 400 meters. That's why individual sprinters hate it, because that means you gotta run 4 times the amount of distance.
Man.
Right? But you gotta put it out there, and I'm excited. I'm waiting to see at least 2 or 3 guys hit the 43 seconds.
Yeah,
right?
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
I would love to see the female, a couple of them drop a 47.
Right.
Or at least 4 or 5, 6 of them dropping 48 low, going for that goal. And that's why I think Felix Allison should run the 4 at the trials, because her pathway to the Olympic, I think, is a lot better for there to have a greater chance of success based on muscle memory, repetition, and all these things.
Because I think I believe I knew well, I don't know if she did or not, but she ran 48 already.
A young girl.
Yeah, I think it was a thing new, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
From Texas A&M. Yeah. But what I can say is this is a little advice to all the hurdlers and sprinters and relay people. even jumpers and throwers, whatever.
Hold on.
You know,
Public announcement from David.
Listen real talk with David Payne right here. No, real. If you're not where you're supposed to be, but you're slowly still climbing, don't worry, because not everybody jumps out to running 10-7 or 13 flat or 43. Sometimes it takes the athlete to run many, many times or mess up many, many times before they find their groove. And I can tell you, as I was coming into U.S. trials, I mean, I went to U.S. trials at least 10 to 15 years in a row, and the world was over if I didn't make the team. And literally, it was the hardest thing to do. But just know that the rounds are there to help get you into the rest of the shape that you need to be in. And I don't mean shape as in like, you're not hitting the time, because at that point, if you're not in that shape, you're not going to be in that shape. Yeah. I mean, in the shape of the mental shape of each round, learning how to run each round and using that round to get to the next round, and actually using that to run better and faster. If you're focused, you're going to run faster. I just hear so many athletes, and just me as an athlete, being like, watching the stats of people who are running that you're like, oh my gosh, he already ran 13:0. I got to get out here and run. No, you need to run what you're doing and continue to keep doing what you're doing, so that when it's time for you to run that time, you can. A lot of athletes want to jump out there because they see somebody else out there, but you got to stay focused on what your plan is. And the Olympic trials gives you that time to get yourself together each round. Granted, you have to be up there in the upper echelon already. Don't get me wrong. You still got to have died every practice and went through the trials and tribulations that we all have to in order to get where we need to be. But those last couple of rounds are there to tighten you up. You know, maybe you're not Trayvon Bromell and you haven't run 10-8. And so you need to tighten up more. But maybe you're Leah Hobbs and you've run 1088 and you need to pull back a little bit, because now you're where you need to be and you don't need to be running so much. You just need to have your own plan. So that's just my little, gift to the athletes out there that are going into trials with a lot of anxiety. Because I went to trials every year with anxiety. I mean, all my friends, Wallace Spearman, Tyson Gay, Carmelita Jeter, Shantae Moore, everybody who I went there with, we all had anxiety, but it's how we use those last couple of rounds and reps and how we was able to turn that mental anxiety into ammunition when the gun went off. Yeah. So that's what they need to do.
And I'm going to soundboard that one. I may not be the echelon up there, but one thing my competitors would always tell you, world record holders or not, they don't like to race against me because they don't know what they're going to get. It's like a box of chocolate. And my mindset is, I don't give a who's in the race. It could be my mama, could be my daddy. I'm going to whoop his ass. It's my opportunity. All right? They could have a bad race. It's my race. It's who crossed that line, baby. So if in the heats, it says top 4, get your ass in top 4. It doesn't mean you have to win. Get in that 4. Boom. Boom. Back. I'm out of the rounds. I'm in the next round. If it says top 3, get in your top 3.
Yep.
Right? If it's top 2, get that baby in the next round. At the end of the day, we all have our own lane. In that race, if you're made it to the finals and get through the rounds, it doesn't matter who's faster coming in. It's who is ready that moment.
Fact. Shout out to Bernard Williams. Stay in your lane. Anyways, go ahead.
That's right. That moment, somebody could have pulled a hamstring. Something could happen. The wind's too heavy. Be prepared for the opportunity.
Yep.
I train in rain, snow, water, hill, road, pavement, grass, except for lightning. And even then I try to, and they pull me up because I'm trying to see if the lightning can catch me, right? You gotta be prepared because you don't know what's about to go down.
Man, you better get out there in that lightning. Right? You better get out there in that lightning.
Boom! And last piece of advice for you little young punks and people out there, listen up. When there's a false start, adjust your attitude, mentally pivot. Because I see all of y'all getting upset, oh, this and that. Listen, soon as you know that, you're off your performance, right? I'm gonna leave it to you. Performance is the ability when your mind, your body, and your soul rise to the aptitude for that one moment that you have. So remember that. All right? If you want to be able to hear what I just said, go back and repeat the video. I like sport. That's right. The Olympic Digest, folks. David and Robert Enterprise right here.